The love between all creatures is the bond that connects everything. There are two very beautiful stories about Jesus that deal with the treatment of animals. Unfortunately, they were not included in the official biblical canon, and yet they carry a message that could transform our world. How different the earth would look if we knew and took this teaching seriously. Significantly healthier people, less cancer, longer lives, less fear, much more forest cover, less hunger, less aggression, more harmony, more drinking water, fewer environmental problems, and immeasurably less suffering. Do we want to spread the word about this simple magic remedy? I am trying, and I live by it. Once, when I was sitting in the poet's living room, I heard a knock at the window. A chicken was standing on the windowsill and demanding to be let in. One of the poet's daughters opened the window, and the chicken flew onto the poet's shoulder and nudged his cheek with its head, as cats are wont to do. After he had stroked it and said a few friendly words to it, the chicken sat down on the back of the chair and remained there for a while, then went to the window and indicated that it wanted to fly out again. The poet said with a laugh, "Yes, the chicken is my friend and wanted to say hello to me." The chicken that had just visited them came to see them almost every day at a certain hour. These guests were not given any food. They came to the kind man's home solely out of affection for him. Everything is connected to everything else, so we should treat everything with love. The Gospel says that Christ was an Essene. How did these people live? Flavius Josephus, a contemporary of Christ who was employed by the Romans as a historian, writes about this. The Essenes lived in the same way as the Pythagoreans among the Greeks. They do not make sacrifices, because their pure life does not require such atonement. They enter the dining room as if it were a temple and do not eat anything that was once alive. The Essenes had the principle of abstaining from meat, which is not unusual at all. Why did the apostles, like the early Christians, and even the monastic orders practice the law of absolute abstinence from meat, if this had not been a requirement of their master? The first Christians abstained from all meat, as we find confirmed in a letter from Pliny to Emperor Trajan. Saint Basil the Great, Archbishop of Caesarea, the body weighed down with meat is afflicted with disease, while a moderate lifestyle makes it healthy and cuts off the root of evil. But you follow the ways of wolves and the habits of tigers, yet nature has made them dependent on meat, while God has endowed us with reason and a sense of justice. And yet we have become worse than wild animals. Traditions show that Saints Augustine, Anthony, and Francis also ate a purely vegetarian diet and gave their orders corresponding rules. The Spirit of Jesus regarding the animal world from the Gospel of Perfect Life. These two passages reveal what is perhaps the most tender and at the same time most revolutionary aspect of Jesus' teaching. His compassion extended not only to human beings, but to all living creatures. Jesus saw in every creature an expression of divine life and taught that true love never distinguishes between human beings and animals. Those who show compassion and respect for the weaker act out of divine knowledge. Chapter 14, verse 6. And as Jesus walked along with some of his disciples, he met a man who was training dogs to hunt other animals. And he said to the man, "Why are you doing this?" And the man replied, "Because it is my livelihood. What use are these animals? They are weak, but my dogs are strong." And Jesus said to him, "You know neither wisdom nor love. Behold, every creature created by God has its purpose and meaning. And who can say what good there is in it and what benefit it has for you and other people? 7. Behold the fields as they grow and flourish, and the trees as they bear fruit, and the herbs. What more do you want than what the honest labor of your hands gives you? Woe to the strong who abuse their strength. Woe to the wise who wound God's creatures. Woe to the hunters. for they themselves shall be hunted. 8. And the man was greatly astonished, and ceased to train the dogs to hunt, and taught them to save life rather than destroy it. And he accepted the teaching of Jesus and became his disciple. Note: every being is part of the divine order and has a purpose, even if humans do not understand it. The abuse of strength, whether through violence, cunning, or power, is a violation of divine harmony. The man allows himself to be touched, repents, and transforms destruction into healing. His dogs learn to save lives instead of hunting, a symbol of transformation through love. Chapter 21, verse 1. And they came to a mountain whose paths were very steep, and found a man with a beast of burden. 2. The horse had fallen to the ground because the load was too heavy for it, and the man beat it so that blood ran from the animal's body. And Jesus stepped up to the man and said, "You son of abomination, why do you beat your animal? Can't you see that it is far too weak for its load, and don't you know that it is suffering?" 3. The man replied, "What business is it of yours? I can beat my horse as much as I like, for it is mine, and I bought it for a good deal of money. Just ask the others, they know me and know it." 4. And one of the disciples said, "Yes, Lord, it is as he says. We were there when he bought the horse." Then Jesus replied, "Can't you see how it is bleeding, and can't you hear how it is groaning and moaning?" But they replied, "No, Lord, we don't hear it groaning and moaning." 5. Then Jesus became sad and said, "Woe to you hard-hearted ones, who do not hear how it cries out for mercy and cries to its heavenly Creator, and thrice woe to him against whom it cries and groans in its agony." 6. And he walked on and touched the horse, and the animal rose, and its wounds were healed. But to the man he said, "Go now on your way and strike it no more, if you hope to find compassion yourself." 7. And when he saw the people coming, Jesus said to his disciples, "I am sick because of the sick, I am hungry because of the hungry, I am thirsty because of the thirsty." 8. And he also said, "I have come to abolish sacrifices and blood feasts, and if you do not cease to sacrifice and consume the flesh and blood of animals, the wrath of God will not cease to come upon you, just as it came upon your ancestors in the wilderness, who indulged in the consumption of flesh and were filled with decay and plagued by epidemics." 9. And I say unto you, if ye are gathered in my bosom in my mind, and keep not my commandments, I will cast you out. For if ye will not keep the lesser mysteries, how shall I give you the greater? Note from knowledge to life. The disciples do not hear the horse's groaning, and that is the deeper tragedy. They hear with their ears, but not with their hearts. Only Jesus hears the cry of the creature. He heals the animal, but the real mission is for humans. Those who refuse compassion separate themselves from the divine. Jesus continues the connection. I have come to abolish sacrifices and blood feasts. This makes it clear that he is not only referring to external sacrifices, but also to the inner attitude of human beings, the idea that they can be blessed through the suffering of others. But divine law is based on life, not on blood. That is why he admonishes, if you do not keep the lesser mysteries, how shall I give you the greater ones? The lesser mysteries are the laws of pure living, purity in diet, in thought, in our dealings with one another. Those who respect them prepare the body as a temple in which divine knowledge can awaken. Jesus' teaching is revealed here as a school of consciousness. It is not asceticism or sacrifice that lead to enlightenment, but love, simplicity, and mindfulness. A pure body and a pure heart open the door to higher knowledge. The lesser mysteries, that is, daily virtues, purity, moderation, and compassion, are the key to the greater mysteries, knowledge, healing, and wisdom. This text calls on us not only to think about compassion, but to live it. Every action in everyday life, how we eat, talk, work, and treat animals, is part of a spiritual path. Salvation begins where we hear the cry of life that others overlook. Those who treat the smallest things with care enter the great stream of life. This is the way of Jesus, not worship, but following in action. When body, soul, and spirit are pure and fresh, they become receptive to higher experiences and knowledge. Insights awaken, and physical and spiritual healing begins. From this blossom health and cheerfulness, strength, courage, and contentment. This gives infinite freedom and joy in the small things. And those who not only know God's commandments but live by them receive greater responsibility and deeper grace.